Have you ever seen an X mark at the back of the train, to the last bogie of the train, and wondered what does that X stand for? I think most of us who have traveled by long distance trains have come across this last bogie of the train where you see an X mark. So when the train passes by, at the end you see an X mark. When I was small, I was curious and I used to think, what does this X stand for? But when I grew up and I started working and I got into the corporate rut, I kind of stopped being curious. I wonder why. But of lately, after the pandemic, I have kind of become a little more curious about life. Not exactly, but yes. And at this time, I did search the internet for this question as to what does the X stand for at the back of the train, and which has a very simple answer. I think we kind of intuitively knew the answer. It's just there to mark the end of the train. So the X on the back of the train, which is the last bogie of the train, is just to tell that the train is intact and none of the bogies are kind of stranded. Everything is intact and it's moving as one big whole train. So that is the main reason you have an X. Now in cases where you can't see the X, like if it's a foggy day or if it's night, then you have a red light, and that also shows that the train is intact and it's moving as a whole set. There's also an initial which is LV, which kind of says that it's the last vehicle. So again, these are signs to tell the observer that the train is intact. When I say observer, I mean the station crew, who gives a signal, who waves a green flag, so that when they observe, they see the whole train is intact and there's nothing to worry. Now in case they don't see the last bogie, they don't see the X mark on the bogie or the red light or the LV or all of the three, if they don't see, then there is a case to worry, and that's when they kind of contact the guard, who's basically at the last bogie of the train. And yeah, there's a lot of protocols which happens. If you go to think of it, it's a very simple sign at the back of the train, and you might wonder what will happen even if there's no X mark or if you don't put a red light or if you don't give an initial to the last bogie. The thing is, if part of train remains on the track, the guys who give the signal, the passing and all, they won't understand that there is something on the track. So when the train passes, the signal turns the red for some time and then it goes green. But if only half the train has passed and half train is in the section, it's called the block section basically. If it's there, this will turn green, and the other train, the next train, will get green signals, and when it comes, it sees the train over there. So yeah, it can lead to an accident if the loco pilot of the other train doesn't apply brakes, or if it's a foggy situation or whatever it is. So there is a chance of an accident happening or mishap happening, and that's why they have simple techniques and procedures in place so that the railways, the whole train moves smoothly and the passengers sitting inside can have a wonderful journey. So it's not highly fascinating, the answer to this question, but it's very logical, and it kind of feels good to know that there are small things present in the whole system to avoid mishaps and accidents, making our journey more smoother and easier. That's fantastic.